Hello, and welcome to Shedding the Bitch Radio, where you can discuss, debate, and get advice on how to discover and shed the bitches of fear, insecurity, self-doubt, and negative mindsets so you can realize your dreams and life purpose and create and accelerate the riches you want in life. Join us here live every Tuesday at noon Eastern and dialogue with us at 818-572-2910. You can also chat with us at Blog Talk Radio /SheddingTheBitch or share your stories on our website at sheddingthebitch.com. Whatever the bitch is that's holding you back from living your life to the fullest, it's not worth giving up the riches in life that you deserve. So call in now and let Bernadette Bowes know what's holding you back. 818-572-2910.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Shedding the Bitch Radio. And I'm telling you, this is going to be an awesome discussion because we're going to talk about how you can become an influencer, build your brand, and become the celebrity entrepreneur that you want to be, or at least to have that reputation to where you're getting a lot of eyes and ears and cha-ching into your business. And before we get into introducing our guest, let me just thank all of our new viewers and followers. You have been instrumental in providing us great insights and feedback on exactly what it is that you want to hear about, what you want to talk about, what challenges you're having. And we appreciate the follows, the subscriptions, the likes, the comments, the ratings. Continue doing that across our platforms, whether it's Shedding the Bitch Radio, whether it's Blog Talk Radio, Apple Podcast, anywhere you stream your services, as well as on Shed the Bitch TV on YouTube. So we're so grateful for you. And of course, we can't do it without our current tribe that's been with us for a number of years and who continues to show up and provide us some great community, some great collaboration, and our guests have been really making an impact in your businesses and in your lives, and that's awesome. But lastly, I need to thank our sponsor, North Georgia Tax Solutions. Debbie Snelling and her team provide full service financial and tax services to small to corporate sized clients. And keep in mind, as I always mention, she services all over the country, not just Georgia. So be sure to reach out to her at ngtaxsolutions.com and learn more about her. Tell her I said hi, and you won't be disappointed, I promise you. All right, so let's get into this conversation. Let me introduce this subject, and then we'll bring our guests on. Today's conversation is how to be somebody special. How about that? How to be somebody special. How to increase your influence, your impact, and your income by positioning yourself as a celebrity entrepreneur. You're going to listen for and learn about the power of personal branding. You're going to hear 5 ways to build a personal brand, and guess what? For free. And then we're going to talk about how to create meaning in your life. Okay. Now, for our guests and for all of you new listeners and viewers, I always ground the conversation in a rich question. I want you to kind of relate to the subject that we're talking about and apply it to your own life. So your rich question for today is, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you in the realm of influence, impact, and income with your brand? 1, if like no one knows you and you're Casper the Ghost, or 10, if you are a powerhouse maverick and everyone knows you, and or a good chunk of people know you, they talk about you, they share you, and they want to be part of your world. All right, 1 to 10, where do you fall in that spectrum? Don't worry, there's not a right or wrong answer, because our guest is going to give you all the information that you need. So our guest is Clint Arthur. He's Wharton Business School graduate, Dan Kennedy's GKIC Info Marketer of the Year, with 20 years experience running his own gourmet food company. Awesome. Clint's #1 bestsellers include Breakthrough Your Upper Limits on TV, followed by What They Teach You at the Wharton Business School, then Speaking Game, 7-Figure Speaker Secrets Revealed, and his latest is Celebrity Entrepreneurship. He is a true master of Speaking to Sell. In 2016, Clint shattered the all-time sales record for an outside speaker at GKIC's Super Conference. Clint, I am so happy to have you. How are you?
Magnifico. Gracias.
Magnifico. Gracias. You need to mention to everyone what you just mentioned to me. Where are you?
I'm here in Acapulco, Mexico, man.
That's tough. You have a tough life there, Clint.
I do. I really do. It's very tough.
And it looks like it's a beautiful day there.
Every single day in Acapulco is 85 degrees and sunny. Every day.
No, dry or humid?
There's 80% humidity.
Okay.
We came down here for the quarantine because it's sunny and humid, which are the exact opposite conditions that COVID likes.
Sure.
We had been coming down here for many years. See, celebrity entrepreneurship. Let me give you a name. The name is Arnold Kopelson. Have you ever heard that name?
I can't say I have.
Okay. Let me demonstrate to you the power of celebrity entrepreneurship. Arnold Kopelson was my best friend in college's father. And I started dating my best friend's sister and was working on a movie for Arnold Kopelson. It was a little movie you probably never heard of called Firebirds, starring Nicolas Cage, Tommy Lee Jones, and Sean Young.
Yeah.
You know that movie?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I am a screenwriter. So
okay.
Yeah.
His first movie that you probably heard of was Porky's.
Okay.
That was the 5th highest grossing film of 1982. Then his next movie that he did was this little movie called Platoon that you might have heard of.
Yep.
He won Best Picture Academy Award for Platoon. And then he did The Fugitive, and then he did Falling Down, and then he did The Devil's Advocate and Seven and Murder at 1600. In total, 29 feature films, culminating with the $100 million Arnold Schwarzenegger extravaganza called Eraser for Warner Brothers. He was basically the king of Hollywood during the 90s, and no one's ever heard of him.
Interesting.
To me, he was the greatest celebrity entrepreneur of all time, selling $3 billion worth of movie tickets.
Right.
And nobody's ever heard of him. See, to be a celebrity entrepreneur, a lot of people, they have the wrong understanding of what celebrity really is. Celebrity is not being famous.
Right.
You're never going to be famous. I'm not famous. I'm never going to be famous. We're never going to be Kim Kardashian or Donald Trump. It's not going to happen. As much as we may in our secret heart of hearts want it, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have the ego of being a celebrity. I'm not really interested in that. That's not what celebrity is about. Celebrity is a marketing tool designed to create status and influence and impact with your target market. Yeah. Now, for Arnold Kopelson, his target market was the 100 or so movie executives, movie stars, agents, and managers in Hollywood who really pulled the levers of power and the purse strings and made him a producer who would make millions of dollars just for showing up.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay?
Right.
All right. Now, the first time I came to Acapulco was with him and his family for Christmas break when we were shooting it was called Wings of the Apache and it became Firebirds. And we stayed down here, and then we fast forward into my late 40s, and I've started going on, I have my gourmet food company, and I had written my book, What They Teach You at the Wharton Business School, and I wanted to sell books. They weren't I had self-published my book, What They Teach You at the Wharton Business School. That's a pretty good title, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
I sold a grand total of 8 copies of that book the first year. And I talked to a mentor, Jack Canfield. Jack, how do you sell books? How do you sell 500 million Chicken Soup for the Soul books? Right. You got to be somebody. You can't be nobody. You got to be somebody special if you want to sell books.
Yeah. Yeah. You went mute. There you go.
I got a phone call and I'm coming back. Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Okay. And I put the phone on airplane. I don't know why it took that. In any case, you got to be somebody special. That's the topic of this conversation. How do you become somebody special?
Right.
What are the 5 things that real people do to become somebody special? Like, who's somebody real who I'm talking about? How about Tony Robbins? Is he somebody special?
Sure.
Okay. I could show you video after video after video in a Starbucks, in bank, in a CVS, pharmacy. Hey, what do you think of Tony Robbins? Who?
It's true.
Tony Robbins is nobody.
Right.
He's somebody to you and me.
Yes. Yes.
Because we are into making ourselves better. We are into self-help and seminars, but the average person is not. The average person has no idea who Tony Robbins is. How about Grant Cardone? Do you know who that is?
I do.
To his target market, he is definitely somebody special.
Right.
And he's built up a multi-billion-dollar business.
Right.
Investing in real estate. I just saw he closed some $69 million office building in Florida. I can show you video after video after video of people's, and I say, what do you think of Grant Cardone? Who?
Yeah. I can imagine that. I can certainly imagine that.
Okay. Now, and the same is true of Tim Ferriss. How about Tim Ferriss? 4-Hour Work Week. You think he's somebody special, right?
Right.
I said, this is where it all began. I said to my daughter when she was at USC Film School, I said, hey, what do you think of Tim Ferriss? She goes, who? That's when I began to really get an idea that when you are an author of a book, or when you are trying to sell a ticket to a seminar, or you're consulting or advisory services, you want your target market to see you everywhere. You want your target market to think, wow, if I could hire that guy, I would do it in a second. I don't even know how much it costs, but if you set up a meeting with them, they need to show up to that meeting predisposed to buy you if they can buy you.
Right. Agreed.
Regardless of what the price is.
Agreed.
And if you can engender that kind of excitement, then you have done your job as an expert. You've become somebody special in the eyes of customers and prospects. And there really are 5.5 ways that people like Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone and Tim Ferriss do this.
Okay.
And they're not Facebook advertising. Okay. Facebook advertising costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it does.
And it doesn't really have the celebritizing power. Although, what's that guy's name? He's kind of like, he basically has become an infomercial king on YouTube and on Facebook. Gosh,
what does he do? What does he do?
His thing is like wisdom tree, or he invests. These days he's buying companies like Pottery Barn.
Oh, interesting.
He's put together, syndicates of investors. He's done a lot of online, online marketing training.
Right.
He's some guy in Beverly Hills with a bunch of Lamborghinis in the garage.
Yeah.
And he spent a lot of money advertising on YouTube and Facebook. And I just don't want to buy into that whole thing. So what I have done is I've studied the top experts, and I've determined, what do they really do? Number one.
Go back, slow down for just a minute. Explain and help other people. When you say the experts, so you're talking about those that
authors, speakers, coaches, advisors, consultants, anybody who is an expert and makes money because of what you know.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And here's the real problem. People think that people are paying you for what you do or sell. Right. Or even what you know, and they're not. My great mentor, Dan Kennedy, you mentioned him a couple times in my intro. Mm-hmm. I've learned a lot from that guy, and I've even inspired some of his current teachings. And he said something that really illustrates the whole situation. He goes, my wife broke her wrist. I knew I needed an operation on my wife's wrist. What I did not know was who was going to do the operation. Mm-hmm. See, there were probably 1,000 doctors.
Right, that could do it.
With the credentials and the experience and the referrals. But who was going to get that job?
Right.
Oh, and then you say, well, the one who's the best. Really? They're all good enough. It's a wrist operation. They're all good enough. But he wants to pick the one who's going to probably charge amongst the most and is going to do a great job. And how do you determine who that person is? And see, after I graduated from the Wharton Business School, I told you I had this roommate in college. After college, I moved out to Hollywood, chasing the Hollywood dream. For 13 years, I chased that dream. Okay? It put me behind the wheel of a taxi for 6 years. I was the Wharton taxi driver. I went out there wanting to become somebody special, which I did all right. I became the Wharton taxi driver. That was very special, but the wrong kind of special.
Right.
All right? And I self-published this book about what I learned at the Wharton Business School when I finally got successful as a business person after I gave up on my dream of chasing the Hollywood dream. And, you
just changed it. You didn't give up. You just pivoted.
No, I gave up on that dream. I did.
Right.
And when Brooke Shields interviewed me on the Today Show on December 31st, 2013, she says, you talk about how you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, out of your comfort zone. I'm like, yeah, life begins where your comfort zone ends. And she goes, that sounds scary. And I said, it is scary. And when it's scary is when it's great, which takes me back to Acapulco, because when we first came here for the pandemic, it was very scary, especially when we found out the hotel was going to be closing. We had to get out of the hotel. And the choice was, are we going back to America like everybody else, or are we going to rent a house here in Acapulco and stick it out? And it was really scary when we rented that house. But that began almost 5 months of living in Acapulco during the depths of the pandemic. And we ended up buying this amazing mansion here in Acapulco.
Very nice.
What's scary is when it's great. And, I wrote this book, and a lot of people say, do you resent 13 years of chasing the Hollywood dream and ending up behind the wheel of a taxi for 6 years after graduating from the best business school in the world? And I say no, because that taught me the most important lesson in business, which is who you are is more important than what you actually do or sell. Just like Dan Kennedy was saying. And the way to understand this is, let's just assume that I was the greatest actor of all time, better than Tom Cruise. Who was going to get the job, me or Tom Cruise?
Tom.
Obviously, he is somebody and I was nobody. He was somebody special and I was nobody. And people think, oh, well, that's Hollywood, but that doesn't have to apply to my business. Wrong. Everything. It applies to every business.
Well, I just need to kind of challenge something though. Okay. So you say that Tom's going to get it because he's special and you're not. And then, so there's a, kind of a business owner out there saying, okay, so what he's saying is another business owner may be special and I'm not. When it's not that you're not, I don't think it was that Tom was more special. I think he just was more known. He was more visible. He had more influence and more impact.
He was somebody and I was nobody.
Visibly.
He was somebody.
Yeah. Visibly.
He was somebody special. And I was just a taxi driver. I was nobody.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay. And you got to be, you look at your caller ID on your phone when your phone rings, and you instantly ask the question that everybody is asking themselves about every single person they encounter. And that is, who are you and why should I care?
Yeah.
Okay. And you got to be vicious about that question, because when the caller ID shows that it's spam, that's no one that I care about. And I just send that, I just,
delete.
Decline that call.
Yeah.
I decline the call.
Yeah.
Pass. And the whole goal here is for people to realize this is the decision that every prospect is making every time you interact with them. And if you're nobody special, then they're declining your calls more often than not. And the goal of what we're talking about here today is, what are the 5.5 things you can do so that people stop declining your calls and start giving you big amounts of money?
I'm dying to know what the half is, Clint. I'm dying to know what the half is.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. It's awesome. So what does Tony Robbins do? And what does Grant Cardone do? And what does Tim Ferriss do? And what does Clint do? And then you said one other thing, and that was, on a scale of 0 to 10, right? With 10 being people sharing you and people, knowing you and all that stuff. You know what? I think I'm a 10. You know what makes me a 10? I make millions of dollars every year just doing my own thing. And people are hardly sharing me, and people hardly know me. And people, I'm still hardly anybody, but I've figured out how to make my customers and prospects think that I'm somebody very special.
Exactly. Well, and that's the vein I asked them that question.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them out there. I mean, I talk to my community a lot about the fact that there's only 10% of business owners that earn over $100,000. Well, that means that there's 90% that are nowhere near even having business, let alone having influence, impact, and income.
You ain't going to last long if you ain't breaking six figures. You are not going to last long.
Exactly.
You've got to break through.
Exactly.
And, honestly, I'm in the top half of 1%.
Right.
And that's where you need to be.
Right. So getting into the 5 things that, one can do, and you mentioned as well that it's 5 things that they can even do to help their personal brand for free.
Yeah.
What's that first one?
Okay. Now, this past weekend, we had a friend of ours. We went, we have this new home. We wanted to get some custom dishes made. So we went to this little city called Puebla, Mexico. And we were referred to a friend of a friend, and she took us around, and she just delivered the custom dishes that we had made recently. And we're really excited. And she's a real estate agent. So I'm going to explain everything the way I explained it to her, because she barely speaks English, and I had to really dumb it down. And I'm not trying to mansplain nothing. I'm really trying to mexplain, okay? Because she was Mexican, and I needed to explain it to her in a way she could understand it. So it really works good. I said, okay, great. What's the first thing you can do? I said, imagine if you had a picture with the mayor of Puebla, Colorado. Puebla, Mexico. That's the city. Puebla, Mexico. Okay. Imagine if you had a picture with the mayor of Puebla and one with the governor of the state of Puebla. And you put them on your website. How would that change your results as a realtor? Would that probably make you more trustworthy and seem to be more connected and knowledgeable just because you got a photo with those 2 people?
Right.
Obviously. Right? And then I said, okay, the most famous musician in Mexico is this guy named Luis Miguel. He's basically like, I don't know, Tony Bennett. Okay.
Yeah.
Of Mexico. Yep. And I said, imagine if you could get a picture with Luis Miguel and put that on your website. How would that change things? 3 photos. I literally said to this Mexican real estate agent, I said, you should not try to do any work selling real estate for the next 30 days. The only thing you should focus on for the next 30 days is getting those 3 photos. Think about what a different person you would be to your customers and prospects with 3 photographs on your website.
Right.
That's going to do way more for you than selling houses or getting a credential or becoming a vice president of sales for Century 21. 3 photos.
Yeah.
And that's the first secret of what celebrity entrepreneurs do. We do something called celebrity attachment. We get photos with famous people.
Okay. So I have a question though. So now with everything opening up a bit, it's easier, so to speak, to get out in public with people and with the celebrities. What have you been telling your clients and readers for the past year or so? Can they do that virtually?
If you do a one-on-one Zoom with a person, it's okay. It's not as good as it would be. For example, last August, I did an event at CNN Center in Atlanta with Dr. Drew and Evander Holyfield and the Surgeon General of the USA and Dr. Mark Siegel, the Fox News correspondent, medical correspondent. Everybody got photos. With those people last August during the hot zone of the pandemic in Atlanta. And nobody got COVID and nobody got sick. Look, you got to decide. Are you going to make it happen, or are you going to have excuses? It all comes down to that on every single thing that you do.
Yeah.
And this whole pandemic thing is just one more excuse to hold people back in their lives and get them to take an unemployment check and bitch and moan.
Okay, let's be careful not to go down that rabbit hole. But it was a legitimate question in that there are a lot of people who haven't been traveling, who haven't been out. So now that things are opening up, there's an opportunity to do that. So that's a great, and it's very apparent on your website as well, with all the photos and celebrities that you have there, and that's awesome. And that is a great tip. All right, is there another one?
Good. Let's go to number 2. Now, imagine if this realtor goes to the local chamber of commerce and speaks to them for 20 minutes and has their daughter shoot the video with an iPhone from the back of the room.
Yeah, great
Okay,
idea.
now you're a speaker at the local chamber of commerce. Now, being a speaker is good, but imagine if instead of that, imagine if they were to speak at the London Stock Exchange or the London School of Economics, or at a bank in Mexico City, or at the Mexican Stock Exchange in Mexico City. These are what I call VIP speaking at very important places.
Nice.
Okay, now that doesn't cost anything. You just have to figure out how to do it. But how do you do it? Well, that's one of the things that I figured out. That's what I do for my mentees. I mentor people in these 5 things. Like I've already said, I arrange for celebrity photo ops. I have one coming up with Dog the Bounty Hunter. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
You know who he is, right?
I do.
You know about his wife Beth's battle with cancer.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who Dog the Bounty Hunter is. And really,
I've never watched the show and I know who he is.
Of course.
Right.
And the only thing that matters really is that people are going to say, wow, how did you meet Dog the Bounty Hunter? And now you have something to say.
Right. So in regards to your second tip with these speaking engagements, your suggestion too, VIPs are also like telling your mentorees and those listening, don't spend time just going to the small chamber of commerce in your area. Go to Coca-Cola. I'm in Atlanta. Speaking of Atlanta, go to Coca-Cola, go to CNN, go to, Microsoft just moved in, go to Google. You're also telling them to kind of up level where they're showing up. So they have those logos. Is that a fair?
Hey, if you're going to speak and you really want to have more impact and influence and income, you got to figure out how to speak at a very important place.
Yeah. VIP, okay? I love that. Yep.
Very important place.
Yep.
Okay, that's the second thing. I do it and I arrange for all my clients to do it. The third thing, and I've got these in order of easiness and impact. Okay. I'm telling you, the easiest and most impactful thing is celebrity photos.
Okay.
Second, very important place speaking. Third, TV. I said, imagine if you could get onto the local TV, like TV Azteca or Telemundo in Puebla, Mexico, and talk about 5 mistakes to avoid if you're going to sell your house on the local TV news.
Yeah. Right.
Now you got these 3 things on your website. You got 3 photos. You got a video of you speaking at a very important place. You got a local TV appearance. How much of a different realtor are you? Yeah. Are you any better? Yeah. Really? I mean, I haven't done one thing to make you a better realtor, but the fascinating thing is that you would be a better realtor because you'd have more confidence.
Yes.
You'd have more charisma. You would have
you'd have more business to kind of get it through all the scenarios and use all your skills and all of that.
So many ways. Let's go to the 4th thing. The 4th thing is to win an award. What if you could become the producer of the year for your local Century 21?
I have one for you. Hollywood's Woman of the Year.
Hey, that's better than nothing, right? Any award is better than no award.
Right.
Okay? And if you could get some kind of good award, that's great.
Yeah.
All right? That makes you more of somebody special than a person who has no awards.
Now, so on that point though, I get like emails, Clint, and it'll be like, hey, you could be the woman of the year. I'll just use that. for $499 and be profiled in our magazine and, have a bio. Is that a good strategy for people to get the visibility like you're talking about and have the impact, influence, and income?
Well, I'll let you make up your own mind with this little story. You may have seen that Snoop Dogg got a star on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
And in that video, he goes, I would like to thank me for doing the hard work, for showing up when I didn't want to, for staying late, for busting my butt, all those things, right? It was a really great speech that he made. Now, what people don't know is, and I'm not trying to get political here, but they tried to take away Donald Trump's star on the Walk of Fame and they couldn't do it. Why? Because it costs $40,000 to get one of those stars. You have to buy the star on the Walk of Fame. What do you think? The Hollywood Walk of Fame is just giving away free stars? No, it's $40,000.
Yeah.
The question is it worth it to buy an award?
Your influence goes, speaking of this, the Hollywood stars, their influence dramatically increases in people's eyes when they all of a sudden have a Hollywood star. Hey,
everything is marketing today. All awards are marketing. You're going to pay for it one way or the other. The Academy Awards, when a movie or a person gets nominated for an Academy Award, that's when they start spending money trying to get that award. And you're going to spend money, time, effort. You're going to spend getting awards.
Yeah.
And you need to do that because awards are worth it. They help you to have distinction in a crowded marketplace.
Yeah.
And isn't that what we all need?
Yeah.
Because, right? That's what this is all about. Get rid of the bitch, right? Get rid of the bitch. The resting bitch face comes from you not being thrilled with your success at achieving impact, influence, and income. So let's get rid of the bitch and get to the happiness that we want. That's the fourth way. The fifth way is to have a best-selling book. Writing a book is good. If you haven't made it a bestseller, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah.
Today, you don't need to be a New York Times bestseller. You just need to be an Amazon bestseller.
True.
And if you can't make that happen, there are plenty of people, including myself, who can make that happen for you for a fee. Mm-hmm. And really, it's all about the marketing value of being able to say that you're the number one best-selling author of whatever book it is.
Right.
What they teach you at the Wharton Business School, break through your upper limits on TV, celebrity entrepreneurship. You got to make your books best-selling books, or else you're just not trying hard enough.
Right. I love that because it's so true. And yet I'm so glad there's a resource like you there, because especially with the mindset of being, of a celebrity entrepreneur, because I think people look at that and they think vanity and they think ego and whatnot. And it's not it's not at all what we're talking about here. It's all about.
That's a self-defense mechanism.
Yeah. Yeah.
For not trying.
Yeah.
And not failing.
Right.
See? I'm not all that ego. That's because you don't want to try hard and not succeed.
Right.
Well, the reality of the game is that all the biggest entrepreneurs, including Elon Musk and Kanye West, both billionaires, they're doing this stuff. I showed the realtor, the girl from Puebla, a picture of Elon Musk and Kanye West in a photo on Instagram together. That's celebrity attachment. That's exactly what even the biggest are doing it. Everybody knows celebrities hang out with other celebrities.
Right.
That's why this happens. So what's the fifth and a half thing? We got 5 already, right? What's the half? The half is dangerous. The half is something I call celebrity lifestyle marketing assets. That's pictures of you in exotic locations, living the celebrity lifestyle. Okay. Yeah. Here I am in my mansion in Acapulco. This is a celebrity lifestyle interview, if you would.
Right.
I'm showing you that I'm living the lifestyle that you want, that everybody wants. Now, the danger is, I know this one woman, all she does is celebrity lifestyle marketing assets. You see pictures of her in pretty dresses on expensive vacations all over the world, but that's all you see. She came and spoke at one of my events at the Harvard Faculty Club. That picture from 5 years ago is still her cover photo on Facebook from 5 years ago. And yes, it's a great asset, but you need to have more than just one. You have to have lots. Arnold Kopelson spoke at all different He spoke at Harvard. He spoke at NYU. He spoke at UCLA. He spoke and New York Law School. He had awards. He had this award, that award. He worked with every movie studio and every movie star.
Yeah.
He did all of these things. And this person fails to understand that when you only have celebrity lifestyle marketing assets over constantly appearing, you don't look like you're living the celebrity lifestyle of a highly paid and sought after expert.
Right.
You look like you're the wife of a rich guy.
Right.
Or
the
child of rich parents.
Right.
Okay. And that's the problem with people who do too much of that celebrity lifestyle marketing and not enough of the other high status 5 things, the 5 main things. You got to have those.
Well, and beyond that, where that's concerned, because I actually know 2, they'll go unnamed, but 2 men who do that exact same thing. And it's actually their wives' money, first off. But any of those people that you've talked about and I've mentioned, there's no substance underneath is what the problem is they have all this great cover, but then there's no real substance underneath to where then even if they were asking for, thousands and thousands of dollars,
yeah,
you don't get anything from them.
Hey,
and
look,
that's scary.
One of the basic concepts that I wrote about in my first best-selling book, What They Teach You at the Wharton Business School, is that you must have a high-quality product. If you don't have a high-quality product to begin with, you ain't going to be in business for long and you don't deserve to be. Right. Having a high-quality product or service is a basic assumption of good business. But I work with a lot of doctors, financial advisors, IT experts, any kind of expert, author, speaker, coach. They're my clients. I can't make you a better doctor by teaching you stuff about medicine. Amazingly, though, I had one doctor client who was a graduate of Harvard Medical School, Yale Medical School, and Columbia Medical School. And he told me that going on 30 TV appearances made him a better doctor because it makes you a better communicator. It helps you to crystallize your ideas. It helps you to explain things to people.
Great point.
In a better way. And so what happens is these experts come to me. You got to be already a subject matter expert in what you do to have the most success. And you will get better because really what I'm doing is working on messaging and communications, making people into master communicators in speaking, on video, on photographs, in print. Yeah. You need to be a master communicator, and that's what my specialty really is, helping transform experts into master communicators to have more impact, influence, and income.
Nice. Okay. And then would you also agree? Bam! Would you also agree to, Clint, that there's also an underlying understanding that people should have, and that's that they have to pay, they have to spend money to make money. And they, and they all want things for free. The entrepreneur is always looking for something for free. And it's kind of like, you know what? You can get stuff for free, but you're never going to apply it until you actually invest and you get someone to actually, guide you along the way.
Every single one of the 5.5 things I just talked about are free.
Right.
Okay. You can get photos with celebrities for free.
Agreed.
You can get VIP speaking opportunities
Agreed.
for free. You can get on TV for free. You can get awards for free, and you can get best-selling books for free. But there really is no such thing as free. You gotta invest something, either time or money or effort or combinations of those.
Right.
And what people who are smart do is they invest in mentors who can accelerate that process.
Yeah.
I've worked with every single mentor. I've spent so much money, invested so much money with mentors and who have helped me to get to the next level. And that's why my rise in the expert industry has been meteoric.
Right.
That's why I've been able to go from being nobody to making millions of dollars a year. In just a few years, I was able to make that transformation. Yeah. And that's because I had TV and celebrities and VIP speaking and best-selling books and awards. Hey, man, when you got all that stuff, you become somebody special.
Absolutely. Well, and I wanted to emphasize that point because regardless if they think it's free, and like you said, those are all free, but their time, what I try to pound my clients and community with is, your time is so valuable. You should be revenue generating time and give the expertise like yours to, give the investment, give the monies, give that, time to them and let them help you so you can actually generate income.
Look, you should specialize in doing what you do to get paid big money.
Yes.
Okay. And you should leave the marketing to marketing professionals.
Yes.
Now, the hard part is finding real marketing professionals who can actually deliver. That's a whole nother concept, which I call guaranteed selling. Right. I guarantee everything I do. I have one of my modus operandi, one of my basic tenets of business is to always over deliver on every promise.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Not only do I always deliver on everything, even during the pandemic, I delivered. And I continue to deliver and over deliver on everything. And the key is finding a marketing person who is not just going to promise you great stuff, but is actually going to deliver the great stuff they promise you. And unfortunately, I have clients who get approached by other providers who promise to do things similar to what I do. And I've heard bad stories of them not actually getting the videos or the photos ever.
Right.
And that's what this is all about.
Right. Right.
So there you
go. Okay. So I love this, this thought-provoking question that you had for me. Well, it's for you, but what is it? Let me think how can they figure out their meaning of life? Like, how can they really use everything that we're talking about?
Yeah.
To really figure out their meaning in life.
This is the beauty of it. See, I believe, when I was at the Wharton Business School, I had this girlfriend and she said, hey, let's go on a spring break vacation to Caracas, Venezuela. And I'm like, huh? And she shows me a brochure. And for like $500, we get round trip airfare from Philadelphia to Caracas, Venezuela, a week in a 5-star hotel. There's the pictures of the hotel. I'm like, this couldn't possibly be the hotel. It looks too nice. And we show up there and it's the actual hotel. And we're drinking fresh watermelon juice delivered to the room for $1 per glass. And then one day we go on a walk to go find a deserted beach to make love on the beach. And I was smoking cigarettes in those days. And I sit down on the street corner to have a cigarette and I light it with a wooden match and I blow out the match. And as the smoke is trailing off the match, I think to myself, what should I do with this match? And I look down and I see a crack in the sidewalk. And I think I could put this match in that crack in the sidewalk and no one would ever know. It would be a secret forever. And that's exactly what I did. I put the match in the crack in the sidewalk and nobody knew about it until 2011 when I wrote my book, The Last Year of Your Life. And I told this exact story. And I transformed a match stick hidden in a crack in the sidewalk, which no one knew about, into a meaningful story for me and for all the readers of the book. And that was a big best-selling book, 26,000 copies.
Nice.
Okay.
Very
and
nice.
This shows you how you create meaning. The meaning in your life comes from the stories of your life. And in you determining the meaning of a story, does a story have meaning for you or not? And when you're a speaker, what do you really talk about? What do you talk about at the London Stock Exchange or the Royal Academy of Medicine, where I have upcoming VIP speaking events later this year? What do you talk about? You tell the stories of your life. And what I have found as a speaker who does nothing but tell stories to make millions of dollars every year is that by telling and retelling your own stories, you determine and discover the meaning of your life. It's in the stories of your life.
I love that. I love that. I also love the 5.5. I love the 5.5. That's a great hook, as well as that. That is absolutely awesome. All right. So, I know you've known a lot of celebrities. So in the last couple of minutes, I know you've known a lot of celebrities. And a lot of those celebrities are very rich, and you mentioned Elon Musk and, Kanye and whatnot. And I have a feeling I know the answer, but do all of them really work as hard as the average person? Or is it easier.
I asked this question a lot because I would hear Dan Kennedy say rich people work hard. And I started asking the richest people I knew. I said, Martha Stewart, when I interviewed her at Carnegie Hall for my Living Legends of Entrepreneurial Marketing event, Martha, do rich people work hard? She said, well, every self-made rich person I know works extremely hard. Then I asked Ice-T, same question. Ice, do rich people work hard? He goes, man, you'll be on the yacht partying at the yacht party, and you'll be upstairs getting your drink on, and the guy who owns the yacht will be downstairs making business calls. I asked all rich people this question, and rich people who are self-made work very hard.
Yeah.
And this was an important question for me because I work really, really hard doing what I do. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to display that hard work to my clients and prospects. So that's why I investigated this and have come up with that answer. Yes, rich people work really hard.
Yeah.
And I display that to my clients.
Well, because we all want to relate, and we all want to know that what we're doing is, is not that it's different. Obviously, we're doing different things if we're not where we want to be. But at the same time, we all can relate in the entrepreneurial journey because it's a tough one.
Look, to go from being a taxi driver to this.
Lovely, beautiful. Is that the ocean out there that I see?
Did not come without a lot of hard work.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. All right, Clint, and in the last minute or so, what are your parting words of wisdom?
People have asked me, like, what's the moment that really changed your life? And when I stopped being a taxi driver and I started just working on the gourmet food industry, I was at the men's self-help campfire one night. And the shaman pointed at me across the yellow and orange crackling flames and said, you don't know it yet, but you're already dead. And I said, what are you talking about, man? I'm the most successful guy on this team. 8 years ago, I was driving a cab. Now I'm a millionaire. I was living on a little boat in Marina Del Rey. Now I live in a mansion. You're already dead. You just don't know it. And I didn't know what he was talking about. But I would wake up every night out of a sound sleep for months, mumbling, I'm already dead. What does he mean? And then I woke up on New Year's Day of 2009. I poured myself a mimosa, pulled out a pen and a pad to write down my list of goals for the year. And I was inspired by the shaman that year. And I said, maybe that guy is right. Maybe I am already dead. Or maybe this is going to be the last year of my life. What would I want to accomplish? And people, I think, have a better perspective on this with the whole COVID thing. People have thought about their own mortality a lot more. But I live every year as if it's going to be the last year of my life. I just go for it. I pull out all the stops every year. I buy the best marketing I can get. I do everything I want to do. I'm leaving next week to go write my new book in Venice, Italy. All right. We're going from Acapulco to Los Angeles for 10 days, to New York, to Milan, to Venice, Florence, Rome. We'll be back here 6 weeks from now because I live full out as if I'm going to die at the end of the year. And that's been something that has changed everything in my life. I talked about it on the Today Show with Brooke Shields, and I'm sharing it with you here today. If you want to get more out of your life, live as if you're going to die.
That is effing awesome. That is fabulous. I love that. And please, everyone, take it to heart. Go back and listen and watch if you need to in regards to the 5.5 ways you can build your personal brand free. But at the same time, recognize that you have to invest in yourself. And therefore, take a look at clintarthur.tv and learn all about the services. And actually, he's one of few who actually provide you exactly what it is that he can do for you. But at the same time, I'm sure there's others, there's more. So reach out, find out, and because think about where you could be in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days at the end of the year if you invested in yourself and your celebrity entrepreneurship. Thank you so much, Clint. I so appreciate this. It was great. It was great talking to you. And for everyone, please Again, check out clintarthur.tv, but also join us next Tuesday at noon Eastern time for another episode of Shedding the Bitch Radio, and we'll see you then. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Shedding the Bitch Radio with Bernadette Bose. Join Bernadette every Tuesday at noon Eastern as she helps you shift your bitches to riches. And the dialogue is always going on. See you next week.